Life is better at the top, and these homeowners have the rock-solid investments to prove it.
You have to have a vision to create something. Then you make it happen.
We picked it because it's at the top. Our house sits almost in the clouds.
From a log cabin in the snow-capped Rockies to an alpine lodge in the rolling Smokies, living on or in America's majestic peaks in first-class comfort takes careful planning and rock-steady nerves.
The challenges in building up here were mainly because of the altitude and the weather.
On Ultimate Homes, mountains. Carving out a home at such high elevations means scaling a mountain of remote building challenges and battling extreme weather conditions. But for those who rise to the challenge, the rewards are spectacular. 120 miles up from Atlanta, in the Chattahoochee National Forest, at the southern edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains, sits the small resort town of Sky Valley. Here at 3,300 feet, contractor Chris Jones undertook the biggest home build challenge of his career to construct a mountain mansion for his wife April and their 2 daughters.
We all kind of worked together on this house as a family project, so it was exciting.
We picked it because it's at the top. Our house sits almost in the clouds.
Chris drew up plans to fill a 3¼ acre lot with 10,000 square feet of living space. That would include 5 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, custom woodwork, a billiards room, and an indoor heated pool. To access the remote location, hundreds of trees would have to be cleared, and the foundation would have to be carved into bedrock.
The most difficult part came first, and that was the clearing of the land, excavation, and foundation. We went in with the bulldozers, started clearing. We removed as much as we could. There were some areas that was cost prohibitive. We changed our plans a little bit. We shrank our bottom floor, and then we started with the foundation, which grew and grew and grew. I thought of throwing in the towel right away and finding a different lot. I had never faced anything before with such a detailed foundation. We went about $150,000 over budget. I believe it's probably one of the most structurally sound houses I've ever built.
The exterior is modeled after a traditional alpine lodge, complete with an irregular roofline to mimic the old resorts, which were often built in stages as business boomed.
We wanted to make it look like this house had grown and evolved over time. There's pitched roofs, there's gables.
And that means differing ceiling heights in nearly every room of the house, giving each room a one-of-a-kind feel.
The foyer is 30 feet tall where it peaks.
Lofted ceilings allow for enormous rooms, like this sprawling kitchen. At over 900 square feet, the kitchen is complete with a 12-foot-long, 4-foot-wide marble island, and every modern amenity the family would need.
We really wanted to design a commercial kitchen. We do a lot of cooking in our house. We've got a grill, a hibachi. Most of the appliances are hidden where you can't see them. We had our cabinet maker make custom pieces to match the rest of the house. The living room is connected right off of the kitchen. We wanted an open floor plan, and it connects right to the bar and to the billiards room.
One of the home's most striking features is this mammoth stone fireplace, which runs through all 3 stories of the house. All of the stone was excavated and cut on site, taking over 2 months to build.
We built the fireplace, came up all the way with it, and then started framing around it. The rock work could be done while the framing was going on, but it was a very involved process to get that full 35-foot stack in.
This is a billiards room. Everybody likes to come in here and play pool. While you're playing pool, if it gets really cloudy, you can see the clouds come in and you're almost level with the clouds.
Because Chris's mother loved the detailed woodwork in her own home, Chris decided to have local artisans handcraft cabinets throughout the house, from the kitchen to the master bedroom.
The entire wall took about 60 days to complete. This is one solid piece here, all handcrafted, all hand carved. This bathroom is one of my favorite places in the house.
Before building the house, April purchased a 6.5-foot handcrafted stone tub in Florida to be installed in the second-floor master suite. The problem? It weighed over 2,000 pounds, which was more than the existing floor plan could handle. Without proper support, it could come crashing down through the first-floor ceiling.
It's carved out of one giant piece of granite. We didn't realize how heavy it was till we got it here.
To keep the tub from crashing through the floor, Chris and his team engineered additional support beams built into the foundation.
It probably cost us a month just to get that tub in the bathroom, but it was worth it.
With 3 floors to navigate and older relatives making frequent visits, Chris and April added a hidden elevator.
Another cool feature of our house is we have a hidden elevator. It looks just like a normal door, but when you open it up, here's our elevator. They couldn't get a crane or a forklift underneath the spot, so it had to be put in by hand. It took them a few days to do it, but they were able to get it in the right place.
The mountain retreat pays tribute to the family's older generations, with each room a walk down memory lane. Even a bathroom designed in the style of an old mountain lodge, which the family wanted to recreate.
We focused on each room as almost an independent entity, and I don't think I've ever seen another house that did that.
We're coming in now to the indoor pool. This is one of the most complicated projects to do in the house. Unlike your traditional pool, we had to suspend this over the top of the mountain. It took them over 3 months just to get the foundation built.
This pool is actually suspended above the ground. It's part of our foundation system. When you stand in our backyard, you're actually standing 3 feet below the bottom of our pool.
We're down on the lower level of the house, and we decided to do a diner theme after Chris's grandpa's favorite diner that he used to go to when he was a kid. This is a scene room to our theater. We really wanted it to look like a downtown theater my dad used to go to when he was a kid.
This facade from April's father's favorite theater took over 3 months to construct. It weighs 600 pounds and costs $15,000 to disassemble, pack, and ship from its original location in Dayton, Ohio.
This room was a really difficult room to do. We wanted to fit an entire downtown scene into a 400 square foot room, trying to get the right feel for a downtown area.
My favorite part of the house is the theater. The children love it. All of our guests love it. It seems like we always end up in the theater at least once a day.
The house's precarious perch didn't leave room for a yard, so Chris put up an elevated play space.
So we figured we'd make a porch big enough the kids could run around, play games. We could have a hot tub, hammocks, seating groups.
We have over 3,000 square feet out here.
We can live a full outdoor life on our porches.
After 2 years of building on one of the highest mountaintops in Georgia, Chris and April finally finished their ultimate home.
After everything we fought through to build the house, it was absolutely worth it, and I'm very proud of it. If I had the opportunity to build this house again, I would absolutely do it.
In Montana, 12 miles southwest of Big Sky, lies the Madison Mountain Range, home to some of the most pristine, untouched wilderness in the country. At an elevation of 6,200 feet, 6 miles from the nearest neighbor, architect Dan Turby was commissioned to build the ultimate log cabin that looked authentic to the Old West, untouched for over 100 years.
We had the mandate by owner to try to deliver something where one would feel at home, that would speak, I think, regionally to what is Montana, what is the Rocky Mountain West. That was our assignment.
The homeowners, a busy investor and his wife, would not compromise on luxury. They demanded every modern convenience: air conditioning, central heating, gas, Wi-Fi. Building this ultimate cabin took more than a year at a cost of more than $1 million. There are 3 cozy bedrooms and 2 bathrooms spread over 1,800 square feet.
We started construction in the snow. and we finished in the snow. Day one was, we've got to find our spot in this forest of trees, an area where we could place the structure and building in a place that would allow us to command all these beautiful views. It was very challenging in every regard. Just arriving by car can be a challenge. We have ice, we have snow, getting vehicles on site, getting men here and working through the task of constructing a building in the middle of the Rocky Mountains is pretty daunting.
In Big Sky, Montana, architect Dan Turvey was commissioned to build an authentic log cabin with all the comforts of a luxury mansion. But a traditional timber frame is prone to cracking, and the extreme mountain weather wreaks havoc from top to bottom. The first priority? A foundation that could support the entire structure of the home, as the roof would endure extremely heavy snow loads. Dan decided to reinforce the concrete foundation with steel beams, at twice the cost. The design keeping the roof up is both aesthetically rustic and practical.
We have the appearance of log beams. The structural components are all hidden. We just roughed up these edges so that it would appear to be that the home perhaps has been here for some time. These members are sourced here in the state of Montana. The bark intentionally has been left on to help convey the sense of Montana and rustic and more of a natural feel.
At the center of this log cabin sits the family's 22-foot-high fireplace, 36 tons, at a cost of over $100,000. On the surface, the fireplace looks like dry stacked stone, but inside is a tubular metal frame tied into the foundation below, keeping wind and moisture from penetrating through.
It's very efficient. We don't get cold air infiltrating through rock or beneath the glass.
Relieved of any structural responsibilities, the stone, like the timber beams, is another reminder of the unfinished homesteader appeal.
You'll notice that the stone allows itself to wander out onto the floor. It allows itself to pop in and out of a vertical surface. It actually defines some of the corners here and finds its way outside. And so the idea there is to bring some of the outside in so that we have this visual connection to the exterior and to allow it to emerge from the ground organically. So we have moss, we have tans and greens and other things that again speak to the fact that we're in the Rocky Mountain West.
The behemoth fireplace carries through to the master bedroom.
This is one huge, massive rock fireplace. It's not uncommon from rustic structures of old. This is a very large sourced ledgestone, rather massive and difficult to hoist and put in place. So done with straps and hoisting equipment, but probably close to a ton. Going into the master bathroom, we have a solid wood surface sink area with a twig and branch to add visual interest and texture in keeping with this organic theme. We have a shower that has a true tree column. The columns just add that next layer of texture and interest and excitement. In this particular column, this is at the very end of what would be this lodgepole handrail with shed horns leading up to sleeping quarters above.
Local craftsmen scoured the mountaintop for each discarded antler to create this one-of-a-kind work of art.
So visually it's interesting, but it's neat to kind of grab it and touch it. How often do we get to touch an elk's horn or a mule deer or a moose? Here's some sleeping quarters. This came from a milking parlor and repurposed as to create this visual separation between the sleeping quarters for the daughter versus the two young boys.
Keeping the homeowners cozy through a brutally cold mountain winter required the most energy-efficient heating available. A geothermal heating system of pipes 20 feet below a man-made pond keeps hot water moving through the home, even when outside temperatures reach 40 below. This heating system helps regulate the temperature of the house, saving over $10,000 every year in electricity bills.
I see this home as very desirable. It's cost effective, it's energy efficient, it's site specific. It's in the middle of the most pristine wilderness we would ever hope to find, and it's in Montana. Who can't help but look out the window and just fall in love with the undeveloped, with the natural world?
Architect Dan Turvey spent over 1 year and 2 winters creating this one-of-a-kind $1 million mountain retreat in the backwoods of Montana.
When I look around, I find myself in love with everything. and difficult to describe in so many words.
Located 90 miles southeast of Tucson, Arizona, and 10 miles north of the Mexican border is the old miners' town of Bisbee. When retired, nurse Kathy Clark and her late husband, Randy, explored the Chula Canyon on the back of a Harley. They discovered the ultimate and unconventional location for their new home.
Randy and I were camping out here, and we heard this huge blast up the road. So we hopped on his motorcycle and went over there to see what was going on, and we met our neighbor. He's a mining engineer. He was making a cave house. We right away said, oh, come and see if you can make a cave house for us.
Blasted 80 feet into the Mule Mountain at a cost of $250,000 is a soundproof, weatherproof mountain cave home with its own natural mineral springs.
Here we have beautiful drinking water.
While camping in the Arizona foothills of the Mule Mountains, wilderness explorer Kathy Clark was inspired to build her ultimate mountain cave home.
It took about 1.5 years to blast out the mountain. The first blast went in about here and then opened up this space. The blasting process was really interesting. They would drill 25 holes in a round pattern, pack in the ammonium nitrate. We'd all put on our hard hats and run. And he'd set it off and we'd wait. What are we going to get this time? We would get space that had never, ever been seen before, since this mountain was a molten rock. And then Randy'd say, one more that way, or let's go 2 that way.
Each blast took over a week to set up and clear. After 1.5 years of detonations, the excavation was complete. And the shattered rock was repurposed, costing 60% less than buying rocks from a supply company.
It was used to make this level spot, the patio outside and the driveway that goes down the hill.
Kathy and Randy allowed the unusual shapes and sizes from the blasts to dictate the purpose of each room.
We didn't have an architect. We didn't have any plans on paper. We knew we wanted to have a back door, and we knew we wanted a good deal of space. This sunroom is multi-purpose. I sleep over here. I like to have the moon and the stars at night, look out the window, and in the morning, see the sun come up on the mountain over there, hear the birds. The sunroom is just a beautiful panorama of the mountains. This is called the Mule Mountains here.
Kathy made sure all man-made surfaces appeared natural.
These countertops are cast cement, painted to look like rock. This as well, hopefully to match the granite. This is kind of a fake ceiling that is painted to look like the rock, but it's made with rebar that's drilled. That's covered with expanded metal mesh, and then it's stuccoed on both sides.
Without proper engineering, the ceiling would collapse. The solution was traditionally used for coal mining.
This is called a roof bolt, and it's a 6-foot length of spring steel that's slit down the side. They're hammered into a 6-foot hole.
These bolts exert 40,000 pounds of force per square inch and prevent the ultimate catastrophe.
Nothing can move above us.
The vaulted ceilings, created by the unpredictable blasts, range from 10 to 16 feet tall.
It helps not to feel so, cave-like, have tall ceilings.
The unexpected high ceilings also created a welcome addition, a loft.
This stairway we had made so we could access the loft. This is done the old, real traditional wrought iron way, where everything is molten and hammered. And for instance, here, Chris pierced the handrail, put the support rail through, hammered it down, and then he ended in this very elegant kind of a tendril of steel. He built this at a studio in town, and then when he brought it in and clunk, it fit right in there perfectly. This is a great place to catch a nap and be in a nice, quiet and dark spot. If it's storming outside, you hear nothing. If it's blazing sun outside, you see nothing. It's just beautiful, quiet space. It's so peaceful. In the heart of the mountain, you're close to the rock.
Also benefiting from the extra space is a master bathroom, complete with artificial sun lamps for an unexpected addition to the space.
We got tall ceilings in here too. There was room for these planters, so Randy cast these for me so I could have some vegetation in here. I never thought I'd have a bathroom that was a garden as well. This shower is unique in that it's got a roof on it. This is a place where when we have huge rainstorms, it leaks a bit. So the water drips on the roof. It goes down this gutter, down through a little copper pipe, down the wall, into this little ditch and down the drain and goes outside again. When we did a second blast to get into this bathroom, I was happy to have it big, but we got this interesting shape back here. And so Randy suggested, why don't we have a mirror cut there? And it kind of looks like a place to go and gives you a long mirror as well. Another great thing about this house is that all the water is rainwater. We harvest 40,000 gallons for household use every season and another 6,000 for irrigation. So all the shower water is rainwater. There's no chemicals, there's no treatment. It's all just natural, beautiful rainwater.
The last blast yielded another surprise, creating a back door on the other side of the mountain several feet above the original floor plan.
We decided to go with the door up there, and it was a lucky break. When we had a 100-year flood, the water would have come straight into the house had we gone at that level. But since we're up at this level, the water was only a foot below the back door then. The best thing about this whole house is this water.
They discovered a natural mineral spring running into their new home. What would seem like a problem turned into a useful surprise.
This is cave water or virgin water that comes through 80 feet of granite. And so we take this precious gift and just put it into whatever containers we want to use in the kitchen. And here we have beautiful drinking water.
That spring produces over 25 gallons of water a day, which Kathy uses for cooking and drinking.
We figured out, actually, you could survive here if the big one hit, because there's an even temperature and sufficient supply of fresh water inside the house. Bisbee, Arizona is a perfect place to live in a cave because we're in the high desert and the elevation and location is perfect for a rock temperature of 68 degrees.
Which means no heating or air conditioning bills.
You're never too hot, you're never too cold. You don't have a blasting of air conditioning or furnaces or anything. It's actually the most comfortable house I've ever lived in.
With protection from extreme heat, free spring water, and a unique venue just 15 minutes from downtown, Kathy realized the home could earn its keep.
We did the commercial appliances and sinks so that someday if somebody wants to do a little cafe here or restaurant, they can do it. The chandelier, I was thrilled to have it for the house. It's great to have crystals in a cave. Above the chandelier, we had this all painted then to match the native rock. This hides the utilities and also acts as a emergency water catchment if there happened to ever be a leak up here. And you can access the utility runs through a little trap door right there.
Wilderness lovers Kathy and her late husband Randy spent 15 years to engineer this rock-solid mountain cave home, now worth $1 million. In western North Carolina, the small town of Ferguson is in one of the most remote areas of the Smoky Mountains. Here, you'll find a home that was threatened by Mother Nature and local inspectors. Looking to move from sea to sky, architects Myung and Burdette Pulver sold their multi-million-dollar California estate in search of a mountainside perch to build their dream home.
We took a 6-month RV trip throughout the United States. We wanted mountains, forest, clear stream.
When we arrived in North Carolina, it was so beautiful. The mountains reminded me of my homeland in Korea.
My wife jumped out of the car, looked at the stream, turned around and said, "That's it." And that was it. Total happiness.
Myung and Burdette purchased 40 acres in the foothills of the Smokies. With Myung serving as the contractor and Burdette the architect, they built this $1 million, 2,300 square foot home with 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Engineering a house on this rugged slope was a major obstacle. Because of the wild terrain, trucks and equipment could not access the property. Construction was delayed 6 months while they cleared trees and leveled the ground. And when they started the house, they discovered another roadblock. Architectural plans required a line of posts to support the foundation. However, the city's engineer declared one of the holes, right in the middle of the site, unfit to support a post. Immediately, he ordered a halt to the build. Located in the Smoky Mountains, outside of Ferguson, North Carolina, construction on Myung and Burdette Pulver's dream home was shut down. But they came up with an alternative solution. They met the city's strict building codes with a state-of-the-art truss foundation.
The next step was to build a truss from the 2 different areas that had good foundations.
Spanning the 25-foot gap between columns, the middle section of the house can support over 23 tons.
All of the steel materials are designed by Burdette, and they were fabricated in a steel company in Wilkesboro. This truss is really a dynamic feature of this house, and I really enjoy sitting here, looking out and seeing the creek through the structure.
And there was another big issue. The hill was too steep for a crane. The only solution was to hoist the structure by hand.
It was a bear to build. We're so far off the ground, the workers were carrying one piece up at a time and kind of tacking it in together until they could get the bolts in.
We have these big beams that holds up the entire roof structure, and they are spanned between post to post in order to create big open space.
The beams are held together with mortise and tenon joints. There are no nails or screws, popular in frontier times when nails were expensive. The centerpiece of the living room is a 35-foot stone fireplace that weighs over 2 tons.
This is all masonry structure, comes from all the way down from the ground to the chimney top.
When they finished clearing the land, 1 acre of cut trees remained on their property. So Myung and Burdette rented a portable sawmill. It took almost a year for the wood to cure, but the decision to mill the wood on site saved the couple almost $20,000.
All these window frames, the window frames there, the countertop, everything is from our land.
Exposed beams and trusses carry through to the master bedroom. Myung created this elevated platform as a reminder of her childhood in Korea.
It's Asian style.
The home was engineered to showcase its wild surroundings. The creek is visible from every room in the house.
It's very enjoyable. As you're standing directly underneath the shower, you look down and you see the waterfall. It is just fabulous view, and you see the cascade coming down, and this is a wonderful way to start the day.
There's also an elevator that transports firewood to the top floors.
We were able to put it in by 4 strong men holding it, actually putting it in the hole just by manpower. This is my office, and this is where I work every day. That's my workstation. This floor is poured in place concrete, and all these squares is poured in bucket by bucket. It was a slow process. All these rocks come from the local rivers.
Architects Myung and Burdett spent $1 million and over 4 years to complete this one-of-a-kind mountain face home.
Every project we do is a passion project because that's what we love to do. You have to have a vision to create something. Then you make it happen. That becomes reality. We love living here because the mountain entertains you. The nature entertains you. It's the moving picture in your daily life.
In Wyoming, on the edge of the Shoshone National Forest, 350 miles from Cheyenne, is the mountain region of Big Bear. It's famous throughout the world for its spectacular mountain and valley views. Seeking protection from the limelight, Doobie Brothers drummer Michael Hosick decided to build his retirement home here for its stunning vistas, natural habitat, and a very different kind of stargazing. This 6,000 square foot, 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom home is complete with a recording studio and an enormous wraparound deck. The deck's larger than most homes, covering over 5,000 square feet. Hosick's son, Michael Jr., helped with the build.
When I first went there to see the house, actually, my dad said, "This is it." And I looked at it and I was like, wow, it's really not that impressive, Dad. Construction started late 2005 and ended just before 2010. Most of the build that I participated in was actually happening during the winter, and it was 20 below at that particular time. I remember I paid $40 for some thermal socks down in town to help keep my feet warm at the time.
The famous drummer's tendency to improvise during construction was a huge challenge. After the roof was built, Michael Sr. decided he wanted a higher ceiling, which required extreme engineering and added over 2 weeks of work.
So it had 9-foot ceilings. They tore it down and removed the webbing from the inside of the trusses as they built these saddles to install the beams. They had the beams delivered, and they brought them through the hallway, through the front door, because they already had the roof on the house, and kind of did it backwards. They got one side in at a time, hoisted up the other part, and slid it in for its final destination.
The most important feature of a rock star's home? An amazing recording studio. In DuBois, Wyoming, famed Doobie Brothers drummer Michael Hosick built his dream home as a retreat from his jet-set lifestyle. After his passing, his son Michael Jr. decided to call this mountain retreat home. As a tribute, he keeps his father's recording studio available for jam sessions.
It could comfortably hold 5 or 6 band members in there if you needed to record all at the same time.
The space was engineered around Michael Sr.'s drum kit.
He had his kit shipped up here, and his drum tech came up and assembled it for him in true rock star fashion.
When the contractors saw the plans for the curved wall, they initially thought it was a mistake, but the asymmetry reduces echo.
My dad did some recording. It was really just designed for him to put drum tracks down, and then they would send the files off to LA, San Fran, wherever it might be.
The house is wrapped in an enormous deck. At 5,000 square feet, it's almost as big as the house.
It goes basically 360 around the house.
Costing over $50,000, this deck took 4 men over a month to complete.
It was described as the largest order of decking ever purchased here at the local lumber yard.
The lower deck required several tons of fill dirt for support. At 7,700 feet above sea level, the views are spectacular.
We've had over 100 people on that deck and just have a great time. You enjoy the view. I think that it really gives something unique and original that most homes don't have. They have a deck, but compared to this, it's a Volkswagen and a Ferrari. Unfortunately, it was kind of bittersweet because in 2010, my dad was also diagnosed with cancer. It got the best of him in 2012, but he got to enjoy the house for those 2 years. I love living at the house because literally I get to honor my dad by using stuff that he put here for us.
Just 30 miles east of Salt Lake City, Utah, the mountains in Park City are a skier's and snowboarder's paradise. Dr. Don Mealing and his wife Mary decided to build a luxurious lodge with priceless benefits, direct access to the slopes, to ski with their son Brian.
We found this property in 2003, immediately fell in love with the views, and we wanted to build a special house up here that really took advantage of those views, but was very connected to the land.
This $9 million, 10,000 square foot ultimate home has 6 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, a rec room, a theater, and an indoor climbing wall. It rests 9,000 feet above sea level in Park City's Summit Ridge. After spending the first year in this winter wonderland, the family decided to make it their permanent residence.
What I like about this house is it's a large house, and there's 3 of us living here. But every room has a cozy, sort of intimate atmosphere, and that was really important to me.
The house really had its inspiration because of where it's situated in the mountains, and we are very much mountain people. We enjoy all kinds of activities in the mountains. We love to ski. We do hiking, we do mountain biking, you name it, we probably do it in the mountains.
But for the $1 million rewards, there were extreme challenges.
We were too dumb to know that you're not supposed to build at 9,000 feet in the mountains.
It took over 3 years to complete.
The challenges in building up here were mainly because of the altitude and the weather. When it snowed, we'd have to bring in a crew and remove the snow, and then the contractors could go to work. That slowed things down, and one winter we actually shut down for about 5 months because of the heavy snow.
Up to 10 feet of heavy snow during winter months can threaten the structure.
The engineers told us that the roof is actually engineered to withstand about 250 pounds per square inch, which means you could almost like park a semi-truck up on the roof. I wouldn't want to do that, but that's what they tell me anyway.
Visitors are greeted by an enormous carport. It's supported by 4 massive wood and stone columns.
When we were designing the house, we were thinking, wow, wouldn't it be cool to carry that design all the way through to try to frame the best views in the house between those columns.
The columns are parallel to the main entryway. The symmetry draws you in the front door, through the high-ceilinged entryway, and directly to the massive windows of the great room.
You'll notice overhead, we have some pretty significant beams going on, and this is pretty complex stuff. Kind of drove the contractor crazy for a while until we got everything, all the angles right. I think that they did a great job in terms of just the blend of stone and steel and wood. The kitchen is Mary's special place in the house. The ceiling in here is unusual. When you walk into this space, because of the vaulted grand ceiling that we have in the main living area, we also wanted to bring that into the kitchen. So you look straight up above my head here and you'll notice we got a nice big barrel vaulted ceiling in the kitchen. So this is our master bath for the master bedroom. And there's some unusual things in here. One of the concerns that my wife had when we were moving this high up in the mountains. We're at 9,000 feet. She was really concerned of, well, gosh, when I get out of the bathtub or the shower, I'm gonna be cold. And so I came up with some ideas to kind of help her stay warm. So one of them is, we put in a towel warmer drawer right here, so we can just warm up towels while people are in the shower or in the bathtub. Then the other thing is we put in what I call the French fry warmers. We actually have a couple of infrared heaters that we just turn the dial right here on the wall, and while you're in the shower, the space is warming up, and then you step out of the shower, got a warm space.
In Park City, Utah, orthopedic surgeon Don Mealing and his wife Mary built their dream home, 9,000 feet up Summit Ridge Peak.
What you're looking at is our climbing gym. Mary and I, we were very young when we met, and we were both climbers. When it came time to design this house, we really felt like we want a climbing gym. It took not that long, surprisingly. Once we had the design all in place, it took only about 6 weeks to build. We have parties on a regular basis, and we bring our friends up here. People that have never tried climbing before, they've got to try it here, and they just can't help themselves. They want to try climbing. There's all kinds of routes from beginner all the way to more advanced, and we literally have taught hundreds of people how to climb on these walls. We've had some fairly well-known climbers that have come here and climb with us. It's one of the world's largest residential climbing gyms. It was the largest, and then a friend of mine came by one day, fell in love with it, and he asked, would I mind helping him design and build one for his house? Little did I know he was gonna one-up me, and so his wall's about 5 feet taller than mine.
Around the climbing wall gym is a custom-built spiral staircase.
Our architect found it was pretty easy to just draw these sort of swirly lines on the plans. But when it came time to build them, it was a different matter. This staircase is pretty unusual. It was really a work of art. Our stair guy, and I do mean one guy, built this stairway in our garage. The other thing that we really wanted to make sure of too is that the stair did not block the view. And so you'll notice that we put in all of this glass to support the rails.
The craftsmen shaped these curves by soaking the wood and bending it with jigs and clamps.
I think it took them pretty close to a year, and it forms this really perfect corkscrew. This is one of my favorite places in the house. This is our theater, and look around, and we have a great audio and video setup in here. We have probably around 400 movies, so we can just kind of come in here as a family, relax, choose a movie.
Don and Mary's favorite spot in the house is just off the kitchen.
This is our hearth room. This is a really special room in the house. We just absolutely love it. The architect decided we needed a hearth room. We didn't know we needed a hearth room, and man, are we glad that we had it built. Mary and I will sit in the evenings, we'll talk about our day, we'll turn the fireplace on and just kind of enjoy visiting with each other.
That connection with each other is really important.
The hearth room holds a spectacular ceiling. Builders took weeks to assemble the intricate network of columns and beams.
We decided rather than covering that up, let's keep them exposed, and it creates sort of an interesting effect.
The architect had planned for another solid wood ceiling in the living room.
We cut off the view of the mountaintops, and it was like, we can't do that. We have to be able to see the tops of the mountains. The glass ceiling was a happy accident. One of the assistants to the contractor just suggested, just kind of threw it out there like, well, what if we put in a glass ceiling? And I was like, that's it, a glass ceiling, that's really cool.
However, the main engineer put a stop to the plans. He said the window would crack from snow and ice, but Don insisted, so the builder came up with a clever solution.
Each of the steel beams that you see here has a piece of heat tape that heats the beam, and then that's what causes the snow to slough off.
When Dawn and Mary began construction on a vacation house, they fell in love with the property and decided to make this stunning $9 million mountain paradise their permanent home.
This house was well worth the wait. It has exceeded our expectations. We get a lot of joy from the people that come here and watching them have a lot of fun and be able to relax and just be comfortable with us. And it's just been a wonderful experience. I would build up here again in a second. It's just a wonderful neighborhood, a wonderful environment, and we just love it.
Whether it's a family estate in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Georgia, a mountain cave home in the Mule Mountains of Arizona, or a mansion 9,000 feet up the mountains of Park City, Utah, mountain living, for these homeowners who pulled it off, has turned into the ultimate paradise.